Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness, I know I'm late, and I hate being late. But anyway, good morning. This is Luciana Turner bringing you this morning's edition of Contractor's Chatter. Yes, the Chatters program is designed to be that up-level conversation around government contracting. We discussed everything legislations, appropriations, upcoming industry trends, events, and etc. I am Luciana Turner. I'm your host. I have been in government contracting arena, including my time working in nonprofit, ever since the year 2000. And I decided to bring my knowledge to the forefront to assist those doing work in government contracting. Therefore, I launched this project, and my endeavor is just to bring you actionable content. Not to bring you the fluff and stuff, but the things that you can really take and put to use in your business. So let's get this started today. This morning, I had been a little under the weather. Yesterday was my first live since, struggling. I didn't have COVID, but I hadn't been feeling well. But today I want to talk about, I had a conversation with my coach last night, with one of my coaches last night. And she talked about finding your value. And then I thought back to when I first started in business. A person that I reached out to assist me when I started out in business. I really thought that he was going to help me. He was an attorney. He was somebody I looked up to as a mentor, as a friend. And what I found was his advice wasn't good advice. I'm not saying he didn't give good advice, but he didn't give good advice for me. And it sent me into like a tailspin there for a while, because I just felt that at first I felt there was something wrong with me. Until I went to a business conference, because at first I wasn't attending the conferences because I had heard going to these conferences were a waste of time. But I took the initiative, bought the ticket, and went to the conference, and I found that they weren't a waste of time. And I heard a speaker speak, Dr. Willie Jolly. He spoke at the event. I hope the audience know who he is. He's actually an amazing speaker. And as a part of the conference, he gave away some free sessions with him. And, well, they weren't free. They were reduced sessions. And I paid for a reduced session. And I held my session with him. And I was just sharing some things that happened. And he stopped me and he said, the problem isn't you. The problem is you sought advice from someone who didn't have the same vision as you. You're trying to build a business. And what he did was build something where he ended up being an employee for his client, but calls himself a business. And at first I was trying to defend it because, once again, like I said, I had high respect for this man, and I still do. But then I had to sit with it, and I really thought about it. And I want to share it from this perspective. There are a lot of people in our lives that try to give us advice. They try to mentor us. And rejecting that advice and that mentorship isn't necessarily a bad thing. Oftentimes, it is what is needed in order to save your vision and build your company. If you're in government contracting and you're taking advice from someone who is in the music industry, it's not going to apply. And I know somebody is saying, well, business is business, but the rules of engagement is different. So the rules for engagement in the music industry is a little different than the rules of engagement for government contracting. The way I do B2C, or the way anyone do business B2C or business to consumer, is different than you market business to business. So what makes you think marketing business to government or doing business in NASCAR is the same as doing business in the music industry? Or it's the same as doing business in the auto industry? Every industry has its own inner workings. Every industry has its own rules and regulations. Every industry has its own, I like to call it, language. Therefore, you should seek the mentorship and guidance from somebody within that industry. And there is nothing wrong and there is no disrespect by telling someone, I love you, but I cannot take your advice in this regard. And I know that is a big thing within the minority ethnic community when it comes to listening to our elders. It's seen as a manner of disrespect when we don't take the advice of our elders. But I propose this to you. It's the ultimate disrespect not to do what is best to build a better life. Every generation wants the next generation to do better and to be better. And they can't be better and do better if they're following outdated, outmoded advice. Morals, work ethic, by all means, we're going to pass down those good things. I teach my children the principles of good stewardship. I teach my children the good principles of critical thinking, of treating people in accordance to how they treat you. They're good human beings around this world, and you just have to define them. They're all of nothing is nothing. Don't fall into the trap of those people are this or those people are that, because that is a trap and it's poison. And I will not allow my children on my watch to adopt a poisonous thought process. Now, whatever they do when they get grown and on their own, I can't control. But as long as I am an influence in their life, they will not think that it's okay to abuse or misuse people for any reason. Those are things that you follow and you listen to from your elders. However, if your business advice, if they haven't gone before you, you can't take it. Just, if they haven't gone before you, they don't know what it takes to run a business. They know what it takes to make an ethical decision. But even then, they don't know what it takes to make an ethical business decision. They can only advise you on ethics. And I know somebody is saying, what does this have to do with government contracting? It has everything to do with government contracting. I know, as a matter of fact, had I engaged my coaches back when I first started in the business, I know what I know. And I am excellent in what I know. But had I engaged my coaches in the beginning, I have 3, in the beginning of my business, I would be so much further ahead. Excuse me. they would have saved me the pain and the struggle of figuring some things out the hard way. And you don't have to do that. A coach, a coach's job is to shorten your learning curve. There's not for you, their job is not to take away the learning curve, it's to shorten it. So instead of taking 5 years to learn something, you learn it in 2. It doesn't mean you won't go through pitfalls. It means you won't fall as far in the pit. It means that when you do fall in the pit, there's somebody help pull you up versus you having to climb out by yourself. That is the purpose of hiring the right coach to teach you the right thing. That is the purpose. And anybody who tells you you don't need a coach, I would suggest is somebody who has a limited mindset and a limited vision. And everything that's glittering from the outside is not gold. Don't get caught up in these social media style lives. Just because somebody rents. There's a man on this on social media. He wrote a meme and I just love it. He said people will be impressed by the Lamborghini that this man rented. Don't be impressed by the rented Lamborghini. Don't. But I'm going to close today's session with this. Just because other people can't see your vision doesn't mean you need glasses. It just means you need somebody who can buy into your vision and help you make it come true. Like I said, I have 3 coaches. And I have one coach. She doesn't see my vision. She does, but she doesn't work in my industry. But I don't hire her to help me in that business. I hired her to help me do a certain thing. And that is what she's good at. And that is what she does. And that is what she excels at. And that is what she's helping me accelerate at. She doesn't try to give me advice in my business because that isn't what she do. She stays in her lane and she stays in it well. I have another coach. He's a spiritual, holistic coach who does a touch of leadership. And he does it well. Now he's going into some business coaching. But even the business coaching that he's doing doesn't touch on the business coaching that my other coach is doing. So there still isn't any overlap. See, I knew what I was doing when I hired each coach and what each coach brings to the table. And they operate in their excellence so I can raise my excellence. So I'm going to wrap up by saying join me tomorrow morning at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be on time tomorrow. Be on the lookout for the registration for my virtual summit. It starts November 1st. I have a Black Friday special coming out and a book that's dropping Black Friday as well. So I have a lot coming out, and I'm updating all of my social media so that you can get on my mailing list so you can stay up to date, because quite frankly, I'm going to have so much going on, I'm going to forget to drop it all, and I don't want you to miss anything that's going on in my life and in my business. So with that, have a strategic day on purpose. Take some time during this day to just pause and enjoy. Go outside, take a walk. unplug from the laptop, the TV, and just be with yourself. Be present with yourself so you can be present with your family and your friends. And you will find that being present with yourself will center your mind, because a chaotic mind cannot create. And I will see you tomorrow morning.